Hello guys. Hello guys, I hope you are well. In the previous lesson we learned the flags so that we can put several divs in one group. And of course, if you forget flags, just type a display flags in a VS Code or in a Chrome and click on the square of the front it and click on the thing you all like. After that, copy the code and paste it in VS Code to not delete it again. Be sure that over the time you will learn many other things by using flags. Which of course I am sorry for because my training is only for the beginner and I can explain more about that. And I can explain more about the expert or master. There are more courses about the flags if you want to see it. Maybe what a better way to find it, or maybe learn more about the flags. Okay, now let's go to the start the lesson. Okay, in this beautiful lesson, we are going to move a div, and don't worry, your teacher always have a trick. If you don't like a code or you want your code to be easier, I have a way that your problem be solved. So stay with me until the end and enjoy my ways. Okay, you can see that the website title has been added on the site. I will also add a similar title, just like this website. I will type a div for it and paste it. Of course, I will not put in the header box, and that is a further because I want it to be on the page. So it should be in alt folder. It should be alt folder. Our main box is a box for the title. We can call it in this some text. Let me type it. Class some text. Okay. I put an h1 and I type a title. Okay. Let me do it. I also put an h3 or a p. It doesn't matter, it's just like the same because I can make the font small or big in a CSS, so don't worry about the h3 or p. The item from the title. Now if you look at our website, you see that it is not in a good place. The color and the size and the other things are not good. We can use the CSS for it, so don't worry about that. So now you will tell me let's use flags. Of course, if it comes to your mind, then you'll learn flags, but we don't want to be limited. I can use a margin or a padding to move it down a little and right and left, but I want to teach your position because maybe someone doesn't want to use flags and the margin or padding, and I am one of them because I don't use flags much. And if you look at the code of my website, I use the position more because I painted the website myself and I didn't need the flags. But first I start by styling text. Well, I call some text h1 because I want to style only h1. Let me start with the color. Open a bracket now. Now first color, press enter. Now be a white. Now if you like, you can set the color by yourself if you have any color on your mind. Now let's set the font size. I type for it 2 rem. The font is a pixel or rem or other thing if you want to add, but I go with the rem. Let's add some code. Just copy and paste. Now just copy and paste it again and just change the font size to be little small for the P. It just need to be size that you want. Now let's add distance, not add the distance between two of these. I'm going to say the margin bottom, which is a bottom, be 10 pixels. The font weight is the same, and the font style, which is from 400 to 800. You can write it. But before that, if you want to choose a better font for all of body, go to a star and type font family, and this font be your entire website to let the style of your font if you want it. Now if you want, you can link it from Google. It does it will be the same, but in a general these codes are enough for the text you create. If you want, I can continue with 2 or 3 more codes. There is a line height, which gives a height spacing to the writing. It is good sometime. Okay, let me show it. Yes, line height. Let me increase it or decrease it. Good. Now another one is a max width. If you want, you can arrange the writing. You can arrange the writing you have written. Use a Chrome to do better work in inspect. Let me increase it or decrease. As you can see, Chrome always help you to style your work. And the last one is letter spacing, which gives a space between the words. See it like this. And sorry for not explaining more about it, because our goal is a position, not just for font. Okay, let's go to the main work of moving the box below. The first thing you have to do is to be able to send this text where we want. You must let this box be a bus. But I mean by that, let this div be a bus to move it wherever you want. Now inside it, to move it wherever you want it, and this div is all father, which is 100% the width and 100 ph of the height. Let me show you so that you can understand better what I mean by my word. In order to make it become a bus, I type the position in all father. Type a position and press enter, and I type it for relative. Let's be relative, which means that I can move any div that I have in all folder very easily. And when I add a position relative, it means the boss. I call the name of the same text and give it a position absolute. Let me call it some text, open a bracket, and give it a position absolute, position be absolute, to tell it to be place it in all folder and where I want to send it. You can see that it is placed at the top. Now I type an empty bottom, be a 0 to be a bottom, for where to send it, because the text of that website is where is bottom. Okay, and for the right, type a right, and press enter. Let be a 0. Great. Now let's add to the right and to the button a little with the Chrome inspect. And yes, this is good. And if you want your text to be a center, use the code the text align center. Always, if you want to be a center of the text, make sure to use it. And now done. Just copy and paste it. You see, we made it so easy for the dev to move it. Now what happens if I use absolute from the beginning or from the first? Well, let's say that it should be absolute directly and remove the position and relative. We don't need the position relative. You can see that it was placed in the first body. But for example, let's make this of this section be absolute. You can see that is that this get error, or most of the time it go in a first body and it didn't fall in the same place. So to make sure about that, always let this box or div that inside it be a bus to move it in the from the first div. So don't forget, because I always forget the first about that. Okay, Well, now let's say that we forgot the position or a way that you didn't learn it. What should we do? Here come my trick. The solution is that I go to directly to the Chrome without any position. Let me go to inspect. Now add and do a transform code in some text. Type a transform, press enter. Now you see for the boxing, task 4 has a lot of option. Each of that does something for me or something for the website. And here I use a translate here X and Y, as you can see inside it. So first one is X and the second one is a Y. You see that you know the same width and the height as you read in a math. Now let's increase or decrease it with the mouse. This is very easy here. Now let's put the text align center. Oh, let me decrease it. And we're done in 5 seconds. As you can see, this is my trick. Now copy the code and paste it to the VS Code to not let it delete it. But the problem is sometimes we get overflow X and that is bad. And if you want to remove this overflow, go to the alt folder and type overflow hidden. Okay, now see our website. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean overflow X hidden because it is overflow, not overflow Y. Now and we solve it. Overflow of CSS is amazing, and the transform has other functions such as rotate and the scale, which you like. If you like, you can use them. And I didn't tell you about that because in the next course I will tell you more about that and explain more and show it how to use it. Okay, and so far it's enough for a simple website. I explain about the transform in other courses. Well, now the copy code and I paste it in VS Code. This is our solution. Now you ask me, you say, Ahmad, why didn't you say this directly and explain the position? Let me tell you the reason. I usually use the position myself because if you look on my website, you see that I am in painting. I use a position as a painter. Transform translate doesn't work for me sometimes for my drawing or painting, but the main reason is that if I put a transform here, for example, it doesn't go straight down. It doesn't go straight down like a position. And usually learn a position, it has a better, for example, for paint a line for the image, background or other new thing. Be sure that in the next lesson I will use position more, and usually I set the transform because I said maybe you are not comfortable with the position, or do you want your work to be straight and use image instead of drawing and use the transform and to finish your work. Well, now before we finish our lesson, friends, let me tell you one more thing. In addition to relative and absolute position, there are two other positions that are useful, which are called sticky and static. Now, sticky, I usually use it myself so that always remain at the same place. It's just like you not move anything anyway when you see it on your phone or a tablet, so that I don't have to edit it again. A static have the same use, but for example, if you have a box that behind another box, and you want the first box to be a front, sometime static will solve it. We use a static to move it from the front to the back. Sometimes it works and not. And that is the end of the lesson. I hope you understand the lesson. And if you have a question, you can send them in a comment or a Gmail. And if my teaching was very interesting for you, watch my next video. I want to show you more a better and cool animation about CSS. So now let's go to the quiz.